Hey everyone, welcome back to Topher Drives, where today we are back with my 1998 Lexus GS 400. I thought we'd take some time today to break down some ownership cost and what it has cost me to buy this thing, fix it, own it from a month-to-month basis, and give you a bit of an idea of what it would cost if you wanted to own one of these cars. I also want to walk you around and show you my new vanity plate on the back of this thing. Some of you guessed this, which I was kind of, well, I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, but there were a couple of comments on my initial video of people guessing that I got 98 rich for my plate. So there you go. There's the new vanity plate, and I think it just completes the look of the car. If you're new here, if you're unfamiliar, this is my 98 Lexus GS 400. I bought it from Copart, fixed it, and have been driving it ever since. If you're super unfamiliar with the Lexus GS 400, this was Lexus's competition to the E39 5 Series in the late 90s. It's powered by a 4-liter naturally aspirated V8, makes 300 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. Power is sent to the rear wheels via a 5-speed automatic transmission. And this is just my idea of the perfect daily, which is why I had it, or why I have it, I should say. So without further ado, why don't we hop inside the car because it's freezing, and we'll talk about what it actually, the amount of money that I have into this car right now. And then we're going to go for a little bit of a drive because Emily needs a couple things from the grocery store. So we'll go for a drive and then we'll end at the store, I suppose, the closest store to here is a Target, so don't judge me for doing grocery shopping at Target. It is just the closest store to my current location, so that is where we're going to go. So I have a Google Doc, and I didn't make this for this video, admittedly. I've had this Google Doc running on my phone for every single bit of money that I've invested into this car. So we'll talk about the list, and then we'll go for a drive. We'll give you some more ownership impressions, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to be 100% transparent, and right off the bat tell you that I've got about $6,100 into this car. And that's a bit more than I initially wanted to spend. I wanted to be about $4,000 into this car when I initially found it on Copart. I was hoping that that would be my complete investment into the GS 400, but obviously we went $2,000 over what I had initially planned. So you always got to prepare for other things that are present when you're buying cars from auction. You never know what you're going to get, and I honestly feel like I got pretty lucky with this car because it has been very nice. So initial car purchase, $2,977. That is including the auction fees. Shipped to the warehouse over here, $3,057. Right off the bat, these are all of the items that the car needed because of the front end damage. AC condenser, the front clip, including the hood, the bumper, the grille, and other sort of front end parts like core support and other sort of chassis bracing on the front of the car. All of that together was just over $1,000, including my $700 in labor that I paid Keone from Cap's Garage to completely assemble the front of this car. Next up, we have my snow tires that I got from Bridgestone. These, I almost didn't even put these in because they were sponsored. Bridgestone sent the tires to me, but I still had to pay $40 to my buddy Patrick to mount and balance them for me. Here's a big cost that I was not anticipating, and that was painting the hood and the bumper on this car Cinnabar Pearl to match the rest. When I bought the hood and bumper used, they were silver. I had to change them to match the rest of the car. That was $800, and people are telling me that that was a good deal. Okay, after all of that, I thought, oh yes, my car is done. I was wrong. It needed brake calipers in the front because they were extremely rotted and seized. That was $153, parts and labor, not too bad. And then I got $40 back for sending my cores, so I guess that was only $113. Keone did an oil change, that was $57, and then we did the lower ball joints, as all of you recommended. Parts and labor, that was just under $300. And then I made a little bit of money back because if you all remember, this came on some black wheels that I didn't super love, and a friend of mine, Levi, who watches the channel, he's probably watching this video right now, purchased those wheels from me for $200, which I think was a great deal considering that the tires were literally brand new. So he basically bought a set of tires and got some free wheels thrown in. And then I put in some LED license plate lights to light up my 98 Rich plate at night, of course. and those were $13 from eBay, which required me to like disassemble the entire trunk basically to put those in. And before we get into some of these other things, registration, insurance, and gas, let's go for a drive and we'll talk about what this thing has been like to own for the past few months. I think I've owned it for like 3 or 4 months now, so we'll talk about that. Turn off our tape player so you guys don't have to hear that clicking about the whole time. Cool. I've got to say, every input in this car, from putting the key into the ignition to putting this gearbox into drive, every input is just so satisfying. Even opening the door, closing the door, the turn signal, everything just feels so nice. And that's part of the reason I love driving this car so much. I mean, so much that I've elected to drive this over a numerous amount of press cars that we've had over the last few weeks. So I am still enjoying my time here with the GS400, and I hope a lot of you go out and have your own GS400. And before you accuse me of raising GS400 prices, because I did see some of you accusing me of that in the comments, I don't know what sort of clout you think I have to raise GS400 prices, but there are still plenty of them for sale by me in surrounding states for like $4 or $5 grand. So relax, GS400 prices are not going up because I made a silly little internet video. They're still obtainable and they'll still be fine. And as you guys saw, I'm into this one for $6 grand. And I feel like I overpaid considering the amount of rust that this car has underneath. I haven't showed that to you guys, obviously, but I mean, hold on. But considering that this is a 26-year-old car that has lived in Michigan its entire life, you can assume. Geez, this car turns 26 this year, so do I. Don't love that thought. This heated seat still works fantastically. It's heating me very nicely right now. This thing makes such a good noise. I'm so happy with... Oh, actually, you know what? No, let's talk about this. So, I was hoping that in my next update video on this car, I would have an exhaust. And I have been trying to get an exhaust, but there are a couple of reasons why that hasn't happened yet. For one, I reached out to a company, Radio Silence, haven't heard back. So, I might just buy that exhaust. I mean, it's like $900, so I might just buy it and put it on here. I've also considered the HKS high power mufflers, but those are like $600 for like essentially an axle back, and I would kind of like to have a mid pipe back because it's like super rusty right here in the middle, which is why it has an exhaust leak. So I don't know. I'm still working on getting an exhaust, and hopefully that by the next video I film on this car, hopefully it'll be like an exhaust video, and we'll give you some nasty V8 noises with this thing. Where was I going with this? Oh, I like hearing the V8 noise, which does hinder my fuel economy. So let's get into some of the yearly and monthly costs of owning a GS400. Now, this may vary based on state. I live in Michigan, and here's what it costs. So, initial cost with this car was, of course, registration. It was $183 for a year of registration on this GS400, and that breaks down to what? It's like $15 a month or something if you wanted to break it down monthly. So not terrible, especially when you consider that my Porsche Cayman S is like almost $400 a year for registration. So this car is not super expensive. Insurance, I pay about $120 a month, and that is for full coverage, but Michigan is super expensive for insurance. So if you live literally anywhere else, I'm sure this will be under $100 a month for you to have full coverage insurance. Also, I don't have any recent tickets or accidents or anything like that, so clean record, full coverage on this car that Kelley Blue Book probably says is worth like $2,500 is $120 a month. So I guess in 2 years I pay the entire Kelley Blue Book of the car, but anyways, that's how much it costs. Let's talk about fuel. So this car has about a 20-gallon tank, I put premium in it. Premium's about $3 a gallon, $3.20 a gallon here in Michigan. I did the calculation. To fill this thing up from absolutely empty, it would be $63. So if you're driving this thing on a week-to-week basis, and you're probably filling this thing up once a week, if you're getting like 18 mpg, you're spending about $60 a week on gas. So say, $240 a month on gas. So $240 on gas plus $120 on insurance. That's $360, plus if you throw in the 15 reg fee, it's like $375 a month to own this car. And if you wanted to get really technical, of course, like you could divide my $57 oil change across 6 months, and that would add another like $5 or whatever. But the reason I wanted to do this was to just be completely transparent with you guys, because I feel like some YouTubers, they buy cars and they don't actually tell you how much they have into it. And I mean, frankly, I don't really care. You guys can know how much I have into this car, so you can judge your purchase. If you want to go out and buy a GS 400, you can kind of compare it to my experience and see how it goes for you. You could also argue, you should probably figure in some sort of a maintenance cost, but this is a Lexus. So, I mean, besides doing like a timing belt every 80,000 miles, putting gas in it, putting brakes on it, I mean, probably not going to be doing too much else. I am starting to suspect that my throttle position sensor is like freaking out, because it has some instances where the car idles at like 300 RPM. Very strange. Idles smoothly, just idles super low. And then I sometimes have a very delayed throttle response. But then if I give it an Italian tune-up and just, give it some gas and let it redline itself, then the problem seems to go away. I don't know if that like resets it or something, but any GS gurus, if you want to let me know what causes a low idle, because it might not be the throttle position sensor, I'm not sure. I guess that's mostly it. I've been super impressed with this Nakamichi sound system. You guys can go back and watch my little road trip I did with Emily last month, I think it was 2 months ago, in this car, and we did a sound system test with the Nakamichi, and it sounds excellent. So pretty happy with that. I'm super happy with these Blizzaks. They've been great. For the couple of times I've had to drive this car in like slushy conditions, they've done great. I can like barely even get it to step out. The Blizzaks have so much grip, and also with this being a almost 4,000 pound sedan, it's got a good amount of weight. So the weight figures just came out for the new BMW M5, and it's like well over 5,000 pounds, which is just so funny to think about, because this car is like 3,800 pounds, which is less than a new M2. Like, where is all the weight coming from on these new cars? All of the hybrid tech, I guess, and more wiring, more electronics. This is just such a good golden era for cars here with this GS 400. I think everybody should own a V8 at least once in their life. Such a satisfying, freeing experience, just having that torque to get away from swift trucks. Just go around. What would be really cool would be a TRD supercharger. That would be excellent. I had somebody comment on one of my videos and say that the car was like dog shit slow, and I wanted to ask if he was willing to sponsor a TRD supercharger for me, because that would essentially solve the issue. But trying to be somewhat tame in the comment section, but maybe I should just not hold back like Tedward. He just kind of, lets it all out in the comments. Okay, I'm gonna pop into Target here, grab some oat milk. I'm gonna do this real quick, and then we'll pop back to the garage, and we'll give you a little sneak peek on some of my other personal cars that I'm gonna be filming this coming spring. Very excited about it. So I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully you guys will be looking forward to it as well. Leaving this part in for GS owners, because you'll understand my pain here. Okay, and then I'm gonna get out, and here, we'll do this. Lock that one, then close the door, then lock the car. Now it is locked. Ooh, and the sun's out. You guys actually, I don't think you guys have seen this car in the sun yet. It's a little dirty, but nevertheless. Oh, look at this paint in the sun. Very good. Okay, I'm gonna do a target run, but I'm not gonna be cringy and film it, so I'll be right back. So you know how I just did that bit about locking the doors in the GS? Well, you all will have noticed I put my keys in the cup holder, and then I locked the driver's door. And I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix this now, because all of, yeah, those are the keys. Those are the keys. And I'm not in the car. And for all of you that think I'm making this up, this is my dad coming to rescue me with my spare key. And my mom was in the area and she pulled in next to me so I wouldn't have to stand out in the cold. So we're just having a nice family meeting in the Target parking lot. Spare key. Ah, success. Okay. That took an hour longer than it was supposed to, but let's resume. The biggest slap in the face to all of this is that I did have the key to the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport that I'm driving this week in my pocket. So I think that's what caused my brain to like not register this whole thing. But we can put this all behind us now, get back on the road, and head back to the warehouse to talk about some other personal car stuff. The mighty V8 comes back to life. Here we go. The sun's come out as well. Gonna go ECT power to pull out of here. I'm starting to get less angry when I see Nissan Jukes now. Anyways. She's ready. She's always ready. I think this still has all 300 horsepower. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for our cost breakdown, ownership review, and impromptu locking my keys in the Lexus GS 400. Hope you enjoyed, and if you want to stick around for the next few minutes, I'm going to walk around a couple of my cars in the warehouse, and we will give you a little bit of a sneak peek on some of the stuff that I'm going to be filming here over the next couple of months. We'll wait until spring has sprung, so I don't know, probably April realistically, so it'll still be a couple of months, but you guys will have something to look forward to. I'm trying to work in some more personal cars here on the channel. Press cars are fun, but I don't know, Bentleys and Lamborghinis and cars like that are just not super relatable, so I would like to kind of showcase all of my personal kind of affordable enthusiast cars. I think that that is going to be kind of where the most fun is to be had, so we'll go take a look at those. But as for the GS400, I mean, this thing has just been a superstar so far, and I don't really have any complaints. Other than the front end still making a couple of clunking noises, but I don't think any of them are anything to really worry about, as I had the lower ball joints done here by Cap's Garage. So cool, let's run inside real quick and we'll wrap it up. And these are the two cars that I was just going on about. My 2009 Chevrolet Cobalt SS Turbo, that was my first car that I've owned for going on 12 years, and my 2003 Lexus IS 300 5-speed manual. Not going to give you guys a full story on these right now. We'll save that for the videos, but I just wanted to give you something to look forward to going forth here on the channel. And obviously, as always, feel free to comment below anything that you want to see, whether it's on these cars or any specific new car or used car, whatever. And of course, I'll take that into consideration. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.